Episode 2. The river takes, the river gives. Jimmy still hadn't spoken a full sentence in 4 days. He sat on the same wooden bench every morning, staring at the brown water as it slid past the floating lodge. Jack and Ben clung to him like baby monkeys, afraid to let go. The workers gave them space, but their eyes said the same thing. The family had to leave soon. The wet season storms were only getting started. Then, on the 5th morning, Soze arrived with news no one wanted to hear. "The only road out is gone," he said quietly. "Bridge at Porto Jofre collapsed last night. The airstrip in Campo Grande is underwater. The only way back to civilization now is upstream. 3 days by boat to the Miranda River, then another 4 days overland through the fazendas. But the water is too high. No one has tried it this year." Jimmy finally looked up. His voice cracked from disuse. "Then we stay until it's safe." Soze shook his head. "The owner says the camp closes in 1 week. After that, no food drops, no fuel, no radio. We all leave, or we don't eat." Silence. That night, Jimmy sat with the boys on his lap and told them the truth. "We have to go home. Mommy would want us safe." Jack, only 7, started to cry. Ben, 4, just buried his face in Jimmy's shirt and whispered, "I want Mommy." The next morning, 12 people prepared to leave the place that had taken Mary. Jimmy, the 2 boys, Suze, 3 camp workers, a young British photographer named Ellie who'd missed her flight, and 5 local boatmen who knew the back channels. They took 2 aluminum boats and 1 old wooden canoe lashed together with ropes and hope. Day 1. The flooded forest. The river had no banks anymore. It was one endless brown lake dotted with half-drowned trees. Mosquitoes came in black clouds. Within hours, Ben's face was swollen from bites. They ran out of repellent by noon. That night they tied the boats to tree trunks and slept under tarps. Something big bumped the hull for hours. No one slept. Day 2. The rapids that shouldn't exist. A new current had carved a shortcut through the forest. The boatmen argued for an hour, then decided to risk it to save a full day. Halfway through, the water dropped 10 feet in a roaring chute none of them had ever seen before. The first boat flipped. 2 men, Rafael and his nephew Tiago, brothers who had worked the river their whole lives, were thrown into the foam. They never came up. The second boat barely made it to an island of high ground. Ellie screamed until she had no voice left. Soze stood in the bow, crossing himself over and over, whispering prayers in Portuguese too fast to follow. They recovered 1 body the next morning. Rafael's. Tiago was simply gone. Jimmy held his boy so tight that night he left bruises. He didn't care. Day 4. Fever. Little Ben stopped eating. His skin burned. Malaria or dengue? No way to know. They had only children's paracetamol and river water boiled over a campfire. Ellie, who had worked as a nurse before picking up a camera, took over. She kept cold cloths on his forehead and forced sips of rehydration salts down his throat every 20 minutes. Jimmy sat beside them, useless, whispering the same thing again and again. Please, God, not him too, not after her. Day 6. The miracle. They reached the last stretch, a wide, angry stretch of the Miranda River, swollen to twice its normal width. No one had fuel left. The motors had died hours earlier. They were paddling with broken boards and pure desperation. Then they heard it, an engine. A red and white seaplane appeared low over the trees, circled once, and landed in the only open water for miles. A Brazilian Air Force rescue bird on a routine flood patrol. The pilot, a woman with short hair and calm eyes, stepped onto the float. "We've been looking for a family with 2 little boys. Someone in Porto Jofre sent a radio message 4 days ago." Jimmy fell to his knees in the bottom of the boat and cried like a child, the first time since Mary was taken. They lifted Ben on board first, still burning with fever, then Jack, then Jimmy. The others would follow later by military truck once the plane refueled. As the plane climbed above the endless green and brown, Jimmy looked down and saw Soze standing on the riverbank. The old man raised one hand in goodbye. In the other, he held Mary's red scarf, the one she had worn the day they saw the jaguar. The river had taken Mary. It had taken Raphael and Tiago, but on the seventh day, it finally gave something back. Jimmy pressed his forehead to the window, tears sliding down his cheeks, and whispered the first full sentence he'd spoken in weeks. "We're going home, boys. Mommy sent help." If you felt this one in your chest, hit that like button. Share it with someone who believes love and loss can live in the same heartbeat. And subscribe for episode 3, where Jimmy keeps a promise Mary made him swear the night before she died. See you there.